are you running? Why are you running?
Briximus Prime back at it again for another very special Transformers action figure video, and today we're going to be taking a look at probably the most highly anticipated Transformers Studio Series figure in the entire history of all the Studio Series, the leader class, the Fallen. Right up front here, there's a CGI render right there of Megatronus. That's what the Fallen's original name is. Though, my only problem is I wish there was even more of this bright orange throughout the whole figure that is seen here on this CGI render, but whatever. Here it says Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, Studio Series, The Fallen, Hasbro 91, Transformers Generations, Revenge of the Fallen. You guys can make a drinking game out of it. Every time I take a shot, every time I say Fallen. And then right up top here, it's got The Fallen again. Authentic Transformers. Here on the back of the packaging, you got all the product images and all the stuff we'll be taking a look at in the video. And then a mugshot of The Fallen with Studio Series, says he's a leader class. And that's mostly it for the packaging. And with this cardboard backdrop included with the figure, you can open up for a lot more display options. So anyway, that is really it for the packaging. Now, first off, there is some assembly outside of the box, and they try to show you how to do it inside. This sheet of instructions is pretty sheet. They have a little diagram trying to show you how to do that, but these instructions are really shizzy. Don't use them. What they want you to do here is they want you to take these arm tendons, and what you're going to do is this little section right here, you're going to fold in, and there's this little circular area right there that's going to tab on to this area around his waist, and there's another pair of notches that are right here that are going to go into a pair of notches right over here. Just want to bring this in and collapse it on top of that, and then you just want to compress this other one on the other side of it, and then they will connect together in the middle. As you do that, just try to give those a good old push, really get them connected together, and there you have those moving arm tendons for you. Hopefully they're able to hold up like this over time. I'm worried that as they keep transforming, they're gonna wear out pretty quick. We'll take a look at the unmasked head in full detail later, but they do consider his actual face to be a separate piece, as an accessory, because it is a separate piece, but I'm not counting it as an accessory because it really is just part of the figure. So what you want to do is there's a little orange notch on the head, and it's going to go into the light piping right there. And basically you just want to hook it in and then slide it over. Sadly, the mask isn't a really solid connection. I would have liked if it would have gone in with a nice satisfying click, but overall I still think it holds up pretty well for what it is. I just hope this also doesn't become loose over time. And now we take a look at the Fallen's, what I consider his only accessory. He comes with his big ol' Cybertronian staff here, and it's got some nice mechanical detail and everything. And also this thing does come in two separate parts, so you do have to go in and attach these out of the box. But overall, I think they're nicely detailed, and I think they look just fine. And to get the staff into the Fallen's hand here, he's got these two thumbs right here, and what you want to do is you want to snap it in half, slide one of the halves through, then connect it together, and then there you go. Now you can have the Fallen kind of holding the staff like that, and then obviously you want to rotate the wrist, but there you go. There you got the Fallen holding the staff right there, and it's a really good grip. The only accessory I wish this guy came with was maybe like a Matrix of Leadership to put in this guy's hand. And oh my gosh, the head sculpt looks really, really good. I really like the head sculpt here. I really like the metallic blue on the face, and overall I think it looks really good. But I do have to admit, the little flary things on his face kind of look like cat whiskers. But all the essential details are there, and I couldn't be more happy with it. And that orange light piping just looks so good. It really brings him to life with that fiery essence in his eyes. And just like I showed off before, the Fallen does the iconic "give me your face" moment when Optimus absolutely murders the Fallen by ripping his face off. And of course, that is a gimmick where you can take it off and... Ah! My sleep paralysis demon has returned. and it doesn't look that much better with light piping. And coming down the rest of the body, I like the way how the Fallen looks. Again, that orange that goes throughout him really breathes some nice fiery life into him. I really like it. It really is a nice homage to the original Fallen that was in the Dreamwave production comics with that fiery embers inside of him. And a lot of you might comment on these arm tendons and how they could be really irritating. I like the way how they shift up and down, more on the articulation in a minute, but I just like how they really look. But if you guys think it's going to limit a lot of the posability, well, thankfully, Hasbro added some extra little hinge joints here in the arms for those ball joints, but also they made it so that these are easily removable. So now you can move the arm however you wish, or if you want entirely, you can just remove these entirely and just leave the Fallen as is. But for accuracy's sake, I actually like to keep these on. But overall, I like the way how he looks. Loads of mechanical detailing going all throughout him, which is a nice trait from the Michael Bay films that I'll always compliment them on, is just how detailed the toys turned out and just how, they just look really good. And again, this guy looks very accurate to the original movie, and I love a lot of the extra details they added on this guy. Very, very nice. And some of these more spiky bits are a rubbery plastic, so you don't have to worry about cutting yourself. Again, I just hope this holds up over time, like some of the connections and such. All this dark plastic, it's kind of hard to see unless you have it kind of heavily backlit, but this guy is made out of this semi-translucent dark plastic, and it's kind of worrisome, because translucent plastic has always had a tendency to be pretty brittle, especially when compared to other, especially when compared to the more opaque plastic, because it's been well known to break a lot more often on other. It's just had a history of breaking on people. At least it's not gold plastic. But thankfully, this little thin pelvis area down here is made out of the more strong, sturdy plastic, so I do not fear about any of this breaking down here, thank goodness. And I guess this guy's taking No Nut November pretty seriously. But overall, I think the figure looks great. He definitely looks the part. I especially love how he's got some nice tight joints. Again, we'll go over articulation in a second. But he's also got these nice big feet, which have him planted firmly on the ground. And he doesn't feel like he's going to be falling off the shelf anytime soon. Going over the Fallen's articulation, he has a double ball joint at the neck, which allows him to look up that far, down that not far. He can look left to right, can allow him to rotate the head all over the place. And the head underneath also has all that same posability, as well as an articulated jaw, which is not creepy at all. The shoulders here, again, are kind of limited, but again, you can just take these tendons off. These tendons have a hinge joint here. They have these double hinge joints here, ball joint here, and then they connect by a removable ball joint right here, as well as a little hinge joint in that ball joint socket. So lots of movement in these arm tendons. Without the arm tendons, the arms can move outward that far. They can rotate a full 360. There's also a moving out motion right here. The Fallen does also have a bicep swivel, nice and tight, double jointed elbows that bend in really far, and then he does also get a wrist swivel, and the wrists hinge up and down. No waist swivel on this guy. Would have liked one, but with how he's engineered, I actually don't mind that he doesn't have one. His hips can move forward very far. They can move back very far. If you move the arm tendons, they can move back more. The hips can move outward pretty far, I'd say. He does get a nice thigh swivel. He also gets a knee swivel due to transformation. He gets kind of a weak bend at the knee, but then again, he's already bending his knees. He gets a swivel at the ankle? Is that the ankle? It's always hard to tell what kind of legs these are with all these Decepticon chicken legs all the time. His feet can also shift up and down, and he does get some ankle pivot as well with that toe articulation. So that is it for the articulation on the Fallen. One of the things I really appreciate about this guy is just how big he is, especially when compared to some of the other leader class figures we've been getting recently nowadays and all the downsizing and price changes. So this guy really feels like he's worth that $50 price tag. And here is the Fallen compared with the last Revenge of the Fallen figures I took a look at, the Studio Series Sideswipe and Sideways. Here he is with my Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. And then here he is compared next to the only winged Optimus figure that I have, the Dark of the Moon Leader class Optimus Prime, because trying to get a Jetfire is like near impossible at this freaking point. Like, seriously, what the hell? And now let's get into the Fallen's kind of redundant transformation. Okay, what is this? What is this? I'm not going to blame the figure too much for having this particular alt mode, because the character never actually transformed in the movie, because he already had the power of teleportation, so there wasn't really any reason for him to have an alternate mode. Also, I actually think it looks better without these arm tendon parts on it. These kind of feel a little bit forcefully tacked on. Transformation also is just him crumpled up in a weird pose, but I will admit, the transformation does do a good job at showing us how strong the plastic is here. Like I said, it's that smoky, almost clear plastic, and again, this transformation shows you that it's actually pretty durable. My main issue is that nothing really likes to freaking tab in. This thing just looks like an absolute mess. Just like my life and upload schedule. Oh! I mean, there is some semblance of a resemblance of a vehicle in here with like this little orange cockpit and how the head kind of becomes like a big thruster back there, but just don't even try. The staff splits up, and those little 5mm pegs as shown before, they plug into 5mm ports here on the vehicle. But honestly, again, the weapon storage also looks kind of like an afterthought and just tacked on. I mean, you could technically try to angle them in some way to make them look a little bit like they're part of the vehicle, but it's just an absolute mess already at this point. It's just making it worse. And yeah, surprisingly enough, these actually look like they're in scale to each other. Here's the Fallen compared next to Sideswipe and Sideways. And I didn't transform Megatron because I did want to just kind of show you guys that if you prop up the Fallen's alternate mode, it does kind of look like his sun-eating machine, doesn't it? And then here he is with the Dark of the Moon Optimus, because I was too lazy to transform it. And that is basically it for my review on the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, or also known as Megatronus for all you nerds. I really do like the Fallen. This figure, unlike some other Revenge of the Fallen highly anticipated figures, Jolt, this figure actually delivered on a highly anticipated character that everybody wanted, and I'm really pleased with everything about it. The articulation, the detail, the transformation, even if the transformation was kind of dumb, and the accessories, and all the painting, like everything was done well, and I love the price, and I like the figure. So if I had to give this figure a rating, I give him a very, very solid 9 out of 10. Just those tiny little issues with the arm tendons and all that kind of stuff, but I still appreciate all the extra stuff that Hasbro did to make this figure the best it could be. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this figure turned out, and I'm really happy to have gotten my hands on him. And I do highly suggest him. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a like on the video, comment down below what you guys think, subscribe to the channel for more Transformers and action figure videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.